Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a while since we've had one of our webinars, so really glad to have you all here again. Next slide, please. Okay, so we want to start by having a quick round of introductions. So if you can please type in the chat who you were with and your name, that would be wonderful. And also, Jairo is going to post our LinkedIn group. We would love to have you join us. We share news and events, what's going on LinkedIn, and we are working to kind of build a active ETC community on LinkedIn. So please join us there. Jairo's posting our group now. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, good to see you here. Hi, Jennifer. All right, let's move on. Okay, so most of you know us. We are the GoSaMo TMO. I am Pooja Thomas Patel. I'm the executive director of the Santa Monica TMO. And our job is to support Santa Monica employers, commuters, residents, property managers, and visitors, essentially really anyone who travels in Santa Monica to help them find sustainable ways to get around. So what does that mean? We basically help anyone traveling in Santa Monica with reducing their drive alone trips and helping them find ways to bike, to walk, to take transit, to take the bus or the train, and reduce their drive alone trips. Our goal here is to help reduce some of the congestion that we face in Santa Monica and also help reduce the emissions. Most of our focus is on employers. We help employers support their own programs. We help them with their survey. We help them plan their trips. And our services are free. Really, our goal is to help you build the knowledge base so that you can help your own employees shift their commutes. We do that through events like this, through webinars. In non-COVID times, we hold regular lunch and learns. And we also have our GoSaMo Achievement Awards, where we recognize businesses who are demonstrating a commitment to reducing their drive alone trips and to sustainable commuting. And we do this through our team of the four of us. You can see us on the screen. So myself, we have Nathan, who is going to lead you through the webinar. We have Jairo, who supports our outreach efforts, and Hank, who supports our communications efforts. And you probably will be in touch with all of us at some point. So say hello and feel free to follow our LinkedIn accounts as well. Yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And then lastly, Jairo is also going to share a feedback survey link. So what we are trying to do as we start our new year, we have a strange new year. We don't start our years in January, but as we start a new year for our TMO, we are looking at how we can better serve you, how we can better reorganize our services so that they meet your needs. So we would really love to get some feedback from you so that we can do this in a way that is most efficient. So if you can please take just 3 or 4 minutes of your time to fill out the survey, we would very, very much appreciate it.
Great. Well,
and
if you're
passing over to Nathan, who's going to lead you through the rest of this webinar. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks, Pooja. If you're just joining us, you wouldn't mind typing your name and your organization in the chat. This is great so we can see who's here, and then we'll also make sure that you get a GoSaMo Achievement Award point. So the more you interact with us, the more you come to our events, the more points you can achieve. You can also get points for the GoSaMo Achievement Awards through improving your average vehicle ridership if you're an employer, or just putting together a really strong emission reduction plan. So we want to celebrate employers in Santa Monica who are doing a great job with their commuter programs. And one of the ways we do that is through the GoSaMo Achievement Award. So long story short, type who you are in the chat. We'd love to have you here. Thank you for spending an hour with us today. My name's Nathan Pope. I'm going to be leading us through this webinar. We're going to talk about just a couple topics, and then we're going to open it up for questions at the end. We're going to do updates on the city's public transit system, updates on biking and shared mobility here in Santa Monica, and also carpool and vanpool updates. And then we'll have an option for question and answers where we can chat about anything that we didn't cover. So kick things off, I want to talk about public transit. What's new in public transit in Santa Monica? A lot of us have been away from transit for a while due to COVID and working from home, but I want to just run us through a couple of topics here, Big Blue Bus updates, LA Metro updates, just some updates on fares, and then a quick Amtrak update. The headline news from Big Blue Bus is around their new route. It's called the Express 7. It goes in to complement the Rapid 7 and the regular Route 7 on Pico Boulevard. BBB just launched this new route with very limited stops. So it's an express service. It's different than the Rapid, and it only makes stops at downtown Santa Monica College, Pico Boulevard, San Vicente, Crenshaw, and K-Town. So Express 7 on Pico Boulevard is a new express route for people really trying to get from K-Town to SMC or downtown Santa Monica as quickly as possible. Like I said, it supplements those existing routes, Route 7 and Rapid 7 buses. So on Pico Boulevard, we're going to be seeing a Big Blue Bus coming every 10 minutes, which is really exciting. So to really make sure you understand the differences between these three routes, the Route 7 is going to stop at every stop along Pico Boulevard. The Rapid 7 is going to more or less stop at every other stop, right? So a little bit faster. And this Express 7 stops really only making stops in downtown Santa Monica, SMC, and then a couple other major intersections on the way to Koreatown. So new service to really help connect folks from Koreatown, from the subway system down into Santa Monica. I'm sure a lot of our SMC students will enjoy that. Moving on to other Big Blue Bus updates. As you may have heard, Big Blue Bus is now going completely cash-free. So you can only pay for Big Blue Bus with contactless fare products. So what do I mean by contactless fares? These are things like a tap card, using your phone to pay with a tap app or the token transit app. So we're not touching any surfaces, we're just tapping our card or showing the driver our phone when we get on Big Blue Bus. They're no longer accepting cash. This is done for kind of a couple of reasons. One being coronavirus, we don't want to be touching a lot of surfaces. Another reason is that it takes a lot of time to insert money into the machine and to get a ticket that way. And so Big Blue Bus is looking to speed up their service where we can just tap or show the phone. Buses can, all the buses throughout the system can move a lot more quickly. So happy to answer any questions on this. It's currently a pilot, right? So the city of Santa Monica and Big Blue Bus are going to evaluate this and see if it was successful, see if it meets their goals. And if it doesn't, they'll go back to accepting cash. But right now it's still in the pilot phase. So keep in mind, you gotta want to download that TAP app onto your phone, or you can look at the token transit app. Moving on to Metro, so our red and orange buses and our trains. The big news out of Metro is they've developed and implemented the next generation service changes. What does that mean? This is really focusing on the bus system, but they're looking at the whole bus system throughout LA County and how they can optimize it and retool it to make it more efficient. So they're trying to create a new competitive bus system in Los Angeles County that's fast, frequent, and reliable and accessible. So a lot of these changes have already taken place. The goals, the proposed improvements are to double the number of frequent bus lines coming every 10 minutes or more frequently, and to expand midday, evening, and weekend service, acknowledging that people are not just taking the bus during rush hour, they're taking it throughout the day, in the evenings as well. And they want to make sure that most 99% of current riders have a bus stop within a quarter-mile walk. In Santa Monica, the big changes here are the 704 is no longer in service, it's just the 4. And all the service that was on the 704 has been added into the 4. Same thing with the 733 on Venice Boulevard, it's now just the 33. And you can see here in this slide, when they're looking at the 704 on the existing line, that orange box down there, you can see weekday it came every 15 minutes. Well, now the line 4 is just going to come every 6 minutes. So bus on Santa Monica Boulevard every 6 minutes. You don't have to worry about if it's the rapid or the regular. It's just the line 4 now, simplifying the system. Other Metro updates, Metro Micro. I don't know if folks have heard about this yet, but this is the new on-demand ride-sharing service provided by Metro. You can see the little van there in the corner. These are on-demand rideshare type services where you can possibly share a ride and it'll come pick you up at your doorstep within a certain zone. There's the 8 or so zones you can see there on their screen there. use an app to pick up the ride, and it's only $1. So they have different service areas, different zones in Watts, Compton, LAX, Englewood, North Hollywood, Burbank, Altadena, Pasadena, El Monte, Highland Park, Northwest Fernando Valley, and lastly, I'll call out the UCLA Westwood VA Medical Center, which is going to be launching in winter 2021. So just another option of way of getting around. You request one of these vans on your app, and it comes, picks you up, and takes you to your destination within that zone for $1. Metro's been busy. They also have been working on their fareless system initiative. Metro is studying ways to make their fares on Metro buses and trains free for everyone. They're looking at doing this because they believe that free fares are important for environmental health, economic equity, all of these different goals that we have here in LA County. Free fares for Metro riders and help increase transit ridership, help reduce our environmental impact, while also helping to make those COVID release and improving access to jobs, school, and essential trips, and reducing transportation expenses for people riding Metro. So the long-term goal is to make the system free, and they're studying how to do that. To start off, they kind of have two phases. The first phase is for students. So there's the new Metro Student Go Pass, which is for students K through 12 and community college students to ride Metro buses and rails for free. It's just started, and they're going to be doing it through June 30th, 2023. So, a year and a half to try out this pilot. More than 40 school districts are in the schools and school districts are in the process of signing up. Here in Santa Monica, we can say that LAUSD is signed up, and students there can get that card and ride for free. Santa Monica Unified School District is in the process of understanding the program and hopefully signing up and joining in the future. So Santa Monica SMUSD kids can ride for free as well. If you have a student in one of those districts, they can go to metro.net/about/FSI, Fairless System Initiative, and they can fill out a little form to get their free transit pass. And then they can ride on LA Metro buses and trains, so the orange and red buses, as well as Big Blue buses, Culver City buses, LADOT Dash buses, and the other transit networks that are shown on your screen. That's kind of the first part of the Fairless System Initiative. What they're looking at now is how they can expand these free service to low-income riders. So if you're a lower income rider, they're looking at ways to make the Metro service free. Right now, it's a little confusing on what services are free and which are paid. You'll remember at the start of the pandemic, a lot of our transit agencies here in Southern California and across the globe made their service free. And just to give you an update of where we are on that, I made this little table. You can see here we have our transit agencies here on the left, and then kind of what their fare is in this column. And then we have 2021 and 2022. So just going through this really quickly. Big Blue Bus, it's $1 to ride, contactless only. You have to pay through the app or with a tap card. They're charging regular fares right now, and they're going to be charging regular fares for the foreseeable future. Metro Bus, on the other hand, it's $1.75, their base fare. Right now, the buses, the red and orange Metro buses are free. They're going to be resuming fares in early 2022. So in January 10th, 2022, Metro buses are going to be charging fares again. They're going to be requiring people to tap or pay with cash in this case. Metro Rail, $1.75 as well. Also just charging regular fares now and in the future. That is unless you're a student, and then you can take advantage, if you're in one of the qualified school districts, to take advantage of the fare-free system. I will also note down here at the bottom that Metro is putting on a sale in December, a holiday sale, you could say, for half price 1-day, 7-day, and 30-day Metro passes beginning December 15th. So keep an eye out for that. Mid-December, we'll be pushing out a lot more information on how to access those half price reduced fare Metro passes coming closer to December. I also want to address COVID-19 and where we're at with public transit. From the federal level, it's still required that you wear a mask on all buses and trains, as well as airplanes and at transportation hubs. So everyone's required to wear a mask. And Big Blue Bus and Metro still, however, are doing their enhanced cleaning protocols where they're cleaning the vehicles more frequently. If they suspect that someone has COVID or something like that and they've ridden the bus, they're going to stop that bus where it is and swap it out with a new bus. So still taking these COVID safety precautions quite seriously. The last thing I want to talk about in transit is a new Amtrak service. So Amtrak running some of the trains here, the San Joaquin and Pacific Surfliner trains is what applies to this one. They have a new throughway bus, and a throughway bus is basically, it takes you from your final destination on the Amtrak train to your total final destination. So, or vice versa, if you want to connect to the Amtrak service, there's this new throughway bus that'll pick up at the Santa Monica Pier. And it'll make its way from Santa Monica to either Bakersfield or Van Nuys or vice versa to connect with the Amtrak service there. So a new transportation option, a new throughway bus to connect to more Amtrak routes here in Santa Monica now. We're going to move on now and go ahead, if you have a question, type it in the chat so you don't forget it, and we'll come back and answer them all at the question and answer section. But we're going to move away from transit, and we're going to talk more about biking, active transportation, and shared mobility. In Santa Monica, the shared mobility pilot program really dictates what you see around scooters and shared bikes in Santa Monica, and there's been an update to that. We've kind of entered phase 2 of the pilot program, which is going to run from July of this year until March 2023. And there's new operators in Santa Monica. If you haven't seen the new scooter and e-bike providers in Santa Monica, there are 4 new ones, and some of the ones that were previously in operation are no longer. So the goals of kind of the second phase of this pilot were to offer a variety of shared mobility options, different devices, right? Not just scooters, not just bikes, but are there things in between that we can use as well, making them available to more folks. We're trying to really reduce emissions from those shorter trips and to connect people to our public transportation system. And we want to reduce those sidewalk pathway blockages as well. So the 4 operators in this phase of the pilot are Lyft. You'll remember those pink scooters and bikes from the first phase of the pilot. There's Spin, they're the orange ones, and they have 2- and 3-wheeled scooters. VO, which is a new mobility provider here in Santa Monica, they have 2-wheeled scooters and e-bikes. And you can see a photo of their e-bike up there in the top left. It's not like a traditional pedal e-bike, it's a little bit more sit-down scootery-like. So they're a new operator in Santa Monica. You'll just download the VO app, and I think we probably have someone from VO on the phone who I might, on the call today, who I might put on the spot to give us the 1-minute overview of their new services. And then Wheels. Wheels has been in the Los Angeles area for a while. They have more of those kind of sit-down scooter type devices. Is someone on from VO, excuse me, who wants to give us the quick 1-2 minute overview of VO?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Nick Efron from VO. I'm also a Santa Monica local. So super happy to have our service in the city. Nathan, I think you hit the nail on the head. We do offer 2 device types in the city. One is your typical stand-up scooter. The other one is a sit-down scooter / e-bike. It actually has pedals if you feel more comfortable using pedals to propel you forward. It also has a throttle option as well. So it's a class 2 e-bike. It is personally my favorite. I'm a little clumsy on the stand-up scooters, to be honest. So I really appreciate the sit-down options that VO has. And yeah, you can see us all around the city. Happy to answer any specific questions if there are any, but I'll turn it back over to the GoSaMo team. Take it away.
Thanks, Nick. Hopefully you'll stick around for the Q&A portion at the end here, and we can pick your brain. But this is really the new phase of the shared mobility pilot program. New places to park as well are part of this project, and we're really excited to see micromobility, these light electric devices, being really integrated into the transportation system here in Santa Monica.
Matt?
On the biking side of things and on the micromobility side of things, we have some new infrastructure coming to Santa Monica. Ocean Avenue, you've probably seen the new protected bike lane there, and a protected intersection. A protected intersection means we're taking the separation, the grade separation that is protecting our cyclists from our drivers, and we're continuing that through the intersection. So you can see an image of it here, and it just provides a safer, more efficient intersection for all of our different road users. An overhead view of that looks kind of like this. So you can see a little bit that the protection goes through the intersection. So the protection starts here, and then there's another protective island there in the middle. These intersections are kind of the industry standard right now for making sure we protect all of our road users throughout the country and throughout the world. And Santa Monica is building more of them. So 17th Street is going to be getting several of these protected intersections over the next year or so. So keep an eye out for them. They're going to make biking, scooting a lot more safer and a lot more comfortable. I also want to mention some other projects happening in kind of the Pico area, the Pico community. There's been some pedestrian crossing improvements going on, new safe routes to school infrastructure improvements around the schools in the Pico area, and those protected bike lanes coming on 17th Street and Stewart Street as well. So a lot going on to help make biking and scooting in Santa Monica safer and easier. My last section before we get to the questions is kind of on carpooling and van pooling. We want to make sure if folks are coming from farther away that they have different options for getting here to Santa Monica. And I wanted to mention and start off with van pooling. Van pools, if you're not familiar, are programs. Van pool programs are these programs that help make it easier to commute to work by allowing commuters to ride in shared vans with other people that they know and work with. LA Metro is helping to coordinate this different van pool programs. They have a $500 subsidy that can go towards a van lease. And they help us connect with 3 of our van pool providers, AVR Van Pool, Commute with Enterprise, and Green Commuter. Green Commuter is a electric vehicle van pool provider. And they used to have a 5-person minimum, Metro did, to get a van pool, but that's no longer in the case. They're trying to encourage this more. So you can go onto Metro's website. We can connect you with them if you're interested in finding a van pool, if you're interested in starting a van pool program. We're happy to help get that process off the ground and to support you however we can here at the TMO. I also want to mention park and rides. We have a ton of park and rides throughout LA County, and a lot that'll make sense for folks commuting to Santa Monica or going out of Santa Monica. These are often run by Metro, and they have a whole app where you can reserve parking on there as well. Their website to learn more about Park and Ride for Metro is metro.net/riding/parking. And then if you go to the Lots by Line page, they can show you every park and rides, every station along each of the routes that has a park and ride facility. So if you click on the E-Expo line, you can see all the park and ride lots and their availability and their pricing as well. I just pulled 2 of them here. The Culver City Park and Ride has 300 spaces. It's $3 a day to park there, or $59 a month, or it's $45 a month if you carpool. This is a great option if you're meeting up with a carpool buddy, or you're ending your carpool trip and getting ready to hop on the train to finish the last mile on the Expo line. Same thing, Expo Crenshaw, $59 a month, $45 to carpool. So if you're interested in learning more about the different carpool lots in Santa Monica, I suggest heading over to metro.net/riding/parking, and they can give you a list there, or we're happy to have a conversation now or connect you with more resources moving forward. So I just plowed through a ton of information. We talked about transit, we talked about shared mobility and biking, and we just quickly talked about carpooling and park and riding and van pooling. We're next going to move to questions, and I'm going to start with the chat. If anyone's placed any questions in the chat, we'll start there. And then after that, go ahead and raise your hand using the Zoom functionality. You can raise your hand and we'll go to those raised hands next. Let's see, going back in the chat, we have a bunch of folks saying hello, welcome, so glad you guys are here. Question about the van pool minimum. Leah, did you want to unmute yourself? And you're a van pool expert. What's your question?
Well, so I thought that was very interesting that the 5-person minimum was actually lifted. So want to dig in that a little more. So previously it was 5-person minimum, or 5 average participant ridership for the first full month. And then subsequent to that, it was 4 for the smallest sized van pool. So is that first month one now totally gone? Is it just 4 moving forward?
My understanding is that it is 4 moving forward.
Wow. Okay. This is good news.
Yes.
No, really.
It might change, but I think as of now, it's still 4 moving forward.
And that's reflected currently on the LA Metro website?
So I had a conversation with Mary Ann earlier, 2 weeks ago, and she that is what she suggested, and I went to the Metro website to confirm that, and I'll share with you, it's not updated, but it's This is the latest that I was able to find.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to know. We did a whole push actually recently trying to get at least 6 people, because to get 5, you have to have at least 6 on the register in case someone's sick or, doesn't come into work for some reason during that full month. So now we can lower that to 5. It's been rough getting people in, like finding that extra 6th person has been really difficult. So good news that it's lowering back down. So, or that 5 in that first month is going away. So awesome. Good to know. And then I also had another question on your last slide about carpools, the park and rides.
Mm-hmm.
The carpool, how are the carpools verified? The carpool rate, do you know?
Yeah, so they have some requirements that you ride transit as well as part of the carpool rate. I can't remember off the top of my head how they verify it, but I can definitely connect you to that information. They have it, you apply for a carpool parking permit, and they ask you a couple questions there.
I see. Okay, good to know. I want to share that with our staff here. And I think the transit part of it, there is a link between you using your tap card, I think, to get into the parking structure, and then it links, it says, did you tap it at the transit? If it's on the along the expo line, it says, oh yeah, you did or not. So I know there is a check on that just for everyone else listening. But good to know about the carpool piece of it. Just wanted to understand what that meant.
Metro's vision for a tap card, right, is it's not going to be just for transit, right? They want you to be able to use it for bike share, for your park and ride parking, to use Metro Micro. They want it to be this card that lets you access a whole bunch of mobility options. So it's really exciting that they've integrated into their park and ride systems as well.
Cool. Thank you, everyone, thank you for putting this on, because I learned some new stuff today.
Glad to hear it. Glad you're here, Leah. Jennifer typed in the chat about Metro's employer annual pass program, and they have some international students hopefully coming and looking for Metro's reduced pass program. So I will say it's a little bit up in the air right now, all kinds of things with fare payment for Metro, right? They're looking at creating this system that's going to be fare free, but we're several years away from that. And so the system right now is kind of focusing on, okay, we're going to start with students, so we're going to get low income riders, we're going to go from there. The annual pass program still exists, and we can definitely connect you with more information from that. Metro kind of has several different pass programs. There's the employer annual pass program, there's the small business pass program. There's, if you're just as an individual want to buy an annual pass, you can do that as well. Jennifer, this sounds like a great opportunity. We're happy to dive in and connect you to the right resources there. If you wouldn't mind emailing us a note with the email address on the screen, we're happy to continue that conversation. That's exciting. Any other questions or thoughts? Feel free to just unmute yourself now and we can have a conversation. Is there anything else you were hoping we would cover today that we didn't? Did you learn anything that was interesting? Anything else that's been on your mind?
Is the Big Blue Bus office open in case we need to come in and pick up some supplies for our transportation center and at our store?
Are you specifically talking about tap cards or kind of like schedules and maps and that kind of stuff?
Schedules and things like that.
Yeah, so we, as well as Big Blue Bus and Metro, stopped kind of giving out materials at the start of the pandemic because we didn't want to be handing materials over to folks. And so I think we're kind of moving towards a online first kind of system, but acknowledging that people still want physical things, and it's easier to look at a schedule. I think of Big Blue Bus, their store is open, and they'll happily provide you with a certain quantity of maps, and we're happy to help facilitate that conversation. But I think we're moving more towards here's the link instead of here's the piece of paper. Did that answer your question? Is that Rosalie?
Yeah. So would
oh, Julia.
we can't make our employees use their personal devices for things. So if we as a company wanted to go ahead and print something from that link, we could.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy to make sure you have the most correct link. Is there a specific material that you're looking for? Is it?
I just want to make sure that we had our line information up to date. I'm not sure if there's been any changes to the lines that service our employees. And I believe that's route 3, 8, and 9.
Yeah, we'll definitely can get you the PDF of the most up to date. There have been some minor changes, and so
Great. Thank you. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Julie, what organization are you with? Can you remind me?
With GoSense Markets.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, we can definitely connect you. So glad.
Thank you.
Any other questions or just general thoughts?
I have one quick thought, or just comment, I guess, on the micromobility front. I believe all 4 of the providers in the city do offer some sort of employer discount membership. I'm not sure what they are from the other providers, but from BO's standpoint, for right now, our offering is only applicable to employers with 50 or more employees, but for $25 a month per employee, we'll offer that employee, we will waive their $1 unlock fee on all their trips, and you will just pay by the minute after that. That being said, I'm brand new to the VO team as of a couple of weeks ago, and I'm very interested in rejiggering that pricing for something that might actually work for you all. So happy to either touch base with you guys individually or talk more to the GoSaMo team about pricing that might actually be attractive to some of the local employers. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, similar to how Metro has their employer discount pass program, some of our shared mobility providers like VO and Spin and Lyft have discount programs as well. I think we would definitely be happy to have a conversation with you about how that pricing structure is set out. And if anybody has any thoughts right now, love to hear them. I guess my question we have a lot of employers on the call today is, where are you guys at with your employers coming in to the work site? I know that our grocers are definitely back in person. If you wouldn't mind typing in the chat if you are an ETC or an employer, if you guys are A, back in person, or B, know when you're going back in person, or C, you don't know. If you wouldn't mind just quickly typing in there, we can get a quick roll call of where people are at with returning to work. I know our Oracle folks are still are waiting, looking at kind of early 2022, but it's not clear yet. Anybody else have a plan for or a date for their return to work time? Leah, can I put you on the spot? Have you guys figured out? You have a lot of folks who are have been going in this whole time. What about kind of general staff? Are people going back in more?
Yeah, I was just typing that into the notes. So we had a pilot where people could come in if they wanted to, starting in July. It was very quiet, I would say, at that time. We did have a new thing come out where more people are welcome to come back also November 1 on Monday. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. So I'll fill you in next time I see you.
That will be interested to hear that. And then a lot of folks just typed in the chat and they never left. They've always been, their employees have been coming into work at the work site. So we appreciate all of your essential workers and all the work that they do. Any last questions? Pooja, did I miss anything? Anything you wanted to highlight?
No, I just have a question because we have so many folks here who have been working all throughout. I have a question for you. What are you hearing from your employees about getting to work? Is that starting to change? Have your patterns shifted? What's going on at your workplaces now as far as commuting goes?
Anyone mind?
Rosalie, can I pick on you? Or Jennifer?
We've had a little more increase in employees having troubles getting to work, as I think more people are going back to work, increase in traffic, and just like people on the bus and stuff, and buses or trains slowing down or something and making them late.
Super interesting feedback.
Yeah. Any particular challenges that you might need the TMO to help support?
Honestly, just right now we're looking into the employer annual pass. That's our biggest thing, to try to encourage our employees and help pay for their transit to and from work, because it's been really difficult to get employees and keep employees. So we're hoping to bring that perk back in.
Okay. Okay, I know
Yeah.
that, yeah, well, we can connect offline. Rosalie, you're saying that little by little, they're going back to public transit. Wonderful. Anyone else have any other feedback? Okay. Thank you, appreciate that.
It's always good to hear. And if you noticing some trends, you're like, oh, wow, all of a sudden folks are carpooling a lot more, or we've seen a lot more folks taking transit in the last couple of months. We'd love to hear that and to hear your insights on that kind of things, and we can take those learnings and then apply them to other employers in Santa Monica. So if you have any, observations, we'd love to hear those. I'll do one more call for questions or comments, and then we'll wrap up. Any last thoughts, questions, comments? Well, our email address is on the screen. We know a lot of you. Please feel free. Don't be a stranger. Reach out. We're happy to help with any transportation challenges you're having. Any questions, we're happy to connect you to the answers. Keep an eye out for our newsletter. It's coming out more frequently now, so hopefully you are all getting that. And let us know if you're not, and we can get you signed up. But other than that, I'll just say thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you being here and spending a quick 30-40 minutes with us today. And don't be strangers. We hope to hear from you soon. You can join us on LinkedIn. We should just type in that link in the chat, and we're also hoping to get folks to fill out our survey as well. So appreciate you being with us here at lunchtime on a Thursday, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we talk to you soon. Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone.